The sixth practice of the Chicago Bears training camp just wrapped up, and it was only their second session with full pads, which always brings a new level of intensity and excitement. Fans and analysts alike were eager to see how the team would respond now that the players are feeling the full contact and pressure of real game scenarios. As the dust settled, it was clear that the offense, particularly the quarterback, showed some very encouraging signs of progress after a couple of earlier practices where things were a bit shaky. This one felt like a turning point. The quarterback's overall command on the field was noticeably sharper, and the timing with his receivers seemed to click better than ever before. Throughout the practice, several plays stood out that caught the attention of those watching closely, and many of these moments were even captured on video by fans lucky enough to get a close view, flooding social media with clips of sharp throws and slick catches. One of the first eye-catching plays was a beautifully executed play action. The quarterback read the defense perfectly, dropping back and releasing the ball just before his receiver DJ had fully broken free. The ball landed exactly where only DJ could catch it, right on the sideline, allowing for a smooth sliding grab that gained about 15 yards. That kind of timing and precision always gets the crowd buzzing, because it shows not only arm strength but excellent anticipation and chemistry. Another memorable sequence came when the quarterback climbed out of the pocket to his right hash mark. Under pressure, he kept his eyes downfield and unleashed a laser beam to the left sideline, hitting Ramadan perfectly in stride for a gain of 15 to 18 yards. It was a throw that required both confidence and touch, a clear sign that the passing game is finding its rhythm and the quarterback is growing more comfortable with the reads and mechanics under duress. The deep ball, which has been a work in progress for some time now, showed marked improvement. On a later play-action attempt, the quarterback connected on a deep throw to DJ, who had managed to create separation by getting to steps ahead of defender Kyler. The defender had no choice but to commit pass interference just to stop the play. The ball was placed with a nice touch floating just right to allow the receiver to run under it, something that had been inconsistent in earlier practices. This development is huge because a reliable deep ball opens up the entire offense, forcing defenses to cover more ground and creating opportunities in the short and intermediate routes as well. There was also a fascinating design play that had been mentioned by insiders before practice. It seemed like a controlled scenario where the coaching staff allowed one or two pass rushers to break through, intentionally forcing the quarterback to react on the fly without prior knowledge of the pressure. The quarterback responded impressively by sidearming a quick pass to Swift on a flare route, picking up about 10 to 12 yards. These types of exercises are invaluable because they simulate the unpredictability of real game moments and test a quarterback's poised decision-making and accuracy under unexpected duress. In a third-and situation, he demonstrated good progression reads by stepping through multiple options before settling on a short hitch route to his rookie tight end Calvin Loveling, who has been quietly making a name for himself in camp, caught the ball cleanly and moved the chains, showing that the young players on this roster are starting to emerge and earn the trust of their quarterback and coaches. Rumors are swirling that Loveling is beginning to work more with the first-team offense, while Cole KT is seeing reps with the second group. If that trend continues, it signals the coaching staff's belief in his potential to be a significant contributor this season. Not everything was perfect, of course, just like a few practices ago when the offense stumbled early, but finished strong with a solid 20-minute drill. Today's session also had moments of struggle, particularly in crunch time situations. During a 20-minute drill scenario near the end of practice, the defense got the upper hand. The offense started on their own 47-yard line, down by 5 points, with less than a minute left, needing a touchdown to win. The quarterback threw an incompletion on a pressured throwaway. A pass was knocked down near Ramadan, and he took a sack shortly after. On 4th and 12, a 10-yard pass to Maurice Alexander wasn't enough to extend the drive, and the offense turned the ball over on downs. It was a tough sequence, but also a valuable learning opportunity, especially since the group on the field was mostly second-string receivers. These moments in practice help simulate real game pressure and expose areas for improvement. In fact, the first-team offense dominated most drills during the session, only falling short in that critical 20-minute drill against the defense. It's a reminder that while the Bears are making strides overall, especially after a rocky start to camp, the work is ongoing. We're now 6 practices in and the trajectory is upward. The first few sessions were rough, but since practice 3, there have been consistent signs of growth. Practice 4 was particularly impressive. Practice 5 focused more on the running game, and today the passing attack really took a step forward. Coach Ben Johnson also weighed in before practice, praising the defense and defensive coordinator Dennis Allen for presenting a tough challenge that is forcing the offense to raise its level. There's a clear understanding on the staff that this iron-sharp mentality is exactly what the Bears need to improve and compete. On the player development front, Luther Burton made his second straight appearance in practice and has been gradually integrated into team drills. The coaching staff, especially Ben Johnson, isn't easing up on anyone. Despite Burton missing time recently, Johnson doesn't hesitate to call out mistakes and hold players accountable. Reports from practice indicated Burton was yelled at and pulled from drills for misalignments and incorrect motions. This strict approach shows the Bears are serious about setting a high standard. No exceptions, whether a rookie or a seasoned veteran. Johnson's tough coaching style is a breath of fresh air for a team that struggled with accountability last year. The message is clear: everyone is held to the same standard and no one is above correction. Burton's hard work in response to this coaching will be crucial for his progress, but the staff's commitment to discipline and consistency is apparent. This approach not only builds better players, but also fosters a professional culture that can help the Bears take the next step as a team. Injury-wise, there were some positive updates. Tenno Paceno returned to practice after a hand or wrist issue forced him out temporarily, and tests came back clear. Doug Kramer also rejoined after missing a few days due to an impact injury, which was reassuring given the concerns around the severity. On the flip side, Bill Murray had to leave practice early with an injury and did not participate today, raising some questions about depth on the offensive line. Another key player, Chamar Turner, is expected to miss about a month, likely due to a high ankle sprain, a setback that could impact the team's rotation. One of the most closely watched battles at camp continues to be the left tackle competition. Ben Johnson shared that the coaches are gaining more clarity daily, but there is no set timeline for a final decision. Building chemistry along the offensive line takes time, and the Bears want to ensure they pick the right starter rather than rush into a choice. The next staff meeting, scheduled for Friday, will be an important moment to review progress and possibly narrow down the competition, which currently involves Braxton Jones, Chronomagi, and AZ Trapillo. Fans and insiders at practice have been buzzing about Trapillo's performance, with many feeling he has the edge so far. Braxton Jones is fully participating in team drills with pads and looks ready to go, while Chronomagi continues to rotate through reps. Whether the coaches decide to trim the competition to 2 players before their upcoming joint practices remains to be seen, but most expect that by mid-August, the Bears will have a clearer picture of who will hold down that critical position. With practice 7 coming up tomorrow, the Bears will continue to build on these developments, ironing out mistakes and pushing players to elevate their game. The offense is beginning to take shape, but the challenges from the defense ensure that no one is getting comfortable just yet. As pads pop and intensity rises, the players and coaches alike understand that every day counts in this crucial phase leading up to the regular season. As the Chicago Bears moved into their 7th day of training camp, the atmosphere around the practice facility grew noticeably more intense. Each session now felt less like a routine workout and more like a proving ground, with every snap carrying greater weight for the players vying for roster spots and for the coaches looking to cement their game plans. The tension was palpable as veterans and rookies alike pushed their limits, each drill becoming a microcosm of the battles that would soon play out on Sundays. One of the overarching themes of this practice was the increased cohesion in the offense. While earlier days had seen moments of miscommunication and hesitation, today there was a clear sense of rhythm and confidence. The quarterback, who had begun to find his groove in recent sessions, continued to demonstrate poise and precision, especially when under pressure. His footwork was tighter, his read sharper, and his decision-making quicker, suggesting that the countless hours spent studying film and working with coaches were paying dividends. The running game also showed encouraging signs, an area the Bears had been focused on improving from the outset of camp. The offensive line, though still grappling with some inconsistencies, showed flashes of the kind of push that could open meaningful holes. Running backs took advantage, cutting decisively and hitting the gaps with authority. In one particular sequence, the ball carrier burst through a narrow lane on a draw play, picking up a solid gain before defenders closed in. That play underscored the importance of timing and coordination between the backfield and the front 5, something the coaching staff emphasized repeatedly throughout practice. Meanwhile, the wide receivers continued to build chemistry with the quarterback, their roots crisp and their hands reliable. One play that drew a lot of attention was a quick slant that the quarterback threw on the run. perfectly placed to allow the receiver to gain yards after the catch. It was the kind of play that illustrates the subtle yet critical nuances of timing, positioning, and trust between quarterback and receiver. These kinds of connections don't develop overnight, and seeing them blossom at this stage of camp was promising. Special teams units were another focus, as the coaches understand that games often turn on the execution of these often overlooked phases. Kickoff coverage looked aggressive and disciplined, with players maintaining lane integrity and closing down space efficiently. The punt return unit also showed improved blocking schemes, giving returners more room to operate. Coaches frequently stopped drills to correct alignments and communication, underscoring the importance of every role, no matter how small it may seem. On the defensive side of the ball, the intensity was relentless. The defense, led by a veteran core, pushed hard against the offense, providing a challenging environment that demanded constant adjustment and focus. Defensive linemen burst through gaps with violent quickness, linebackers flowed downhill aggressively, and the secondary showcased tight coverage skills. Several times the defense was able to disrupt the timing of the passing game, forcing hurried throws and causing receivers to adjust mid-route. The battle in the trenches was especially fierce, with offensive and defensive linemen locking up in physical, gritty clashes. These moments are often what define a team's identity, and the Bears were clearly striving to establish toughness and resilience. The coaches praised the defensive front for their ability to generate pressure without relying solely on blitzes, a sign of improved discipline and technique. Among the defensive players, the younger prospects were starting to stand out. A few rookies, initially quiet in camp, began to make plays in coverage and in run defense. Their eagerness to compete and their rapid learning curve have been a highlight for the coaching staff, who often mention the importance of internal competition in elevating everyone's level. The veterans welcomed the newcomers but didn't hesitate to challenge them, creating an environment where hard work and preparation are the keys to earning playing time. Meanwhile, the ongoing competition at the offensive line continued to captivate fans and analysts alike. Each practice gave the coaches more data to evaluate, but the decision remained far from settled. The left tackle spot, as expected, was a hotly contested position. Braxton Jones, Chronomagi, and AZ Trapillo all brought different strengths to the table. Jones with his athleticism and Ben Chronomagi with his raw power and experience, and Trapillo with his technique and consistency. Observers noted that while Trapillo appeared to be gaining a slight edge due to his reliable performance under pressure, the coaches remained cautious and thorough in their evaluation process. Adding another layer to the offensive line saga was the challenge of building chemistry and communication. The line must operate as a unit, and minor breakdowns can lead to sacks and disrupted plays. The Bears coaches emphasized this point, repeatedly conducting drills that forced the linemen to call out assignments and adjust on the fly. It was clear that mental preparation was just as critical as physical skill in winning this battle. Meanwhile, the tight end group continued to develop as a versatile weapon for the offense. Players like Carlson Loveling, who had already made some positive impressions, worked tirelessly to refine their blocking technique while maintaining their effectiveness in the passing game. The ability to contribute both as blockers and receivers is invaluable in the modern NFL, and the Bears' tight ends seemed eager to embrace that dual role. On a broader level, the Bears coaching staff demonstrated a strong commitment to fostering accountability and professionalism. Head coach Matt Eberflus and offensive coordinator Ben Johnson were particularly vocal about the need for players to own their mistakes and consistently push themselves to improve. This philosophy was evident in the way mistakes were handled. During practice, players were corrected promptly, but the tone remained constructive and focused on growth. Injuries remained a concern, as always, during camp. While some players returned from minor setbacks and rejoined drills fully, others had to sit out or limit their participation. The Bears medical team worked closely with the coaching staff to monitor players' health, ensuring that those who needed rest or treatment received it promptly. This careful approach aims to balance the immediate need for preparation with the long-term goal of having a healthy roster come opening day. As the practice wrapped up, the sense of progress was undeniable. The Bears were no longer just going through the motions. They were pushing themselves toward a collective goal, refining their strategies and building the mental toughness necessary for the grind of the regular season. Fans watching from the stands or through social media saw glimpses of a team coming together, with young players rising to the challenge and veterans providing steady leadership. Looking ahead, the Bears faced important challenges in the coming days, including joint practices with other teams and preseason games that would offer the first real tests of their development. These opportunities are invaluable for coaches to evaluate players in game-like settings, and for players to prove they belong on the final roster. The emphasis on competition remained strong and the stakes were higher with every snap. Throughout camp, one of the most compelling storylines continued to be the evolution of the quarterback position. The player under center showed steady growth, moving from tentative throws and occasional mistakes to more confident and precise execution. This transition is critical for the Bears' success, as the quarterback is the linchpin of the offense. Coaches praise his leadership and work ethic, noting that his willingness to learn and adapt sets a positive tone for the entire offense. Off the field, the camaraderie among players also seemed to be strengthening, despite the intensity and pressure of camp. Moments of levity and team bonding were evident. Whether it was light-hearted interactions during breaks or supportive encouragement after tough drills, the Bears were fostering a culture of unity and resilience. This intangible quality often makes the difference in close games and long seasons. In terms of specific positional battles beyond the offensive line, the wide receiver group continued to be deep and competitive. Players battled not just for starting roles, but also for key spots on the roster and special teams units. The competition brought out the best in everyone, pushing players to sharpen their roots, improve their hands, and make smart decisions after the catch. Defensively, the secondary was an area of focus, with coaches working intensively to improve coverage schemes and communication. The secondary must operate with precision, anticipating routes and adjusting on the fly to confusing offensive patterns. Progress was visible as players gained confidence and executed tighter coverage, though challenges remained, especially against faster and more skilled opponents. Linebackers were similarly emphasized, with coaches stressing the importance of their role in both run defense and pass coverage. The versatility required from modern linebackers demands high football IQ and athleticism, and the Bears group was working hard to meet those expectations. Special teams continued to play a pivotal role in practice, with kickers and punters focusing on consistency and accuracy. In a league often decided by a few critical plays, having reliable specialists is a significant advantage, and the Bears were investing the necessary time to get these units game-ready. As the seventh practice came to a close, there was a clear sense that the Bears were on an upward trajectory. The blend of veteran leadership, young talent, and a demanding coaching staff was creating a competitive yet supportive environment. While there were still many questions to answer and areas to improve, the foundation was solidifying. The Bears' front office and coaching staff remained committed to building a team that could compete week in and week out, emphasizing discipline, preparation, and accountability. These values were reflected not only in the drills and schemes, but also in the daily interactions among players and coaches. Ultimately, training camp is about more than just physical preparation. It's about forging a collective identity and mindset that can withstand the rigors of an NFL season. The Chicago Bears appeared to be embracing that challenge fully, with a renewed sense of purpose and determination evident in every snap.